So you picked up Black Ops 6, started playing zombies, but you realized you don't actually know how to solve the main Easter egg in Liberty Falls. Well, no faffing around, let's jump straight into things. Don't worry too much about what weapon you're going to be using because we will be upgrading it if you follow this guide, but I do recommend something like the AK-47 with a suppressor because the suppressor will give you more salvage, which will help you upgrade all of your other weapons. And then to make your life a little bit easier during one step of the Easter egg process, you're going to want to add on the smoke grenade launcher under barrel. Then, although you're not going to be spawning into the game with this gun, you're going to want the GS45s fully maxed out at level 31, which will unlock the Akimbo stock option. It's pretty much the best weapon you can use for any zombies mode right now. Don't forget the suppressor and rapid fire attachments. So again, don't use the GS45s to jump into the game with. You can buy them off the wall with this build. All you need to do is press this little button here that will add this GS45 build to all of your zombies modes. So whenever you buy this weapon off the wall, it will come with all of these attachments. Then, if you haven't unlocked, I recommend Aether Shroud and smokes. That's pretty much all you have to worry about in terms of loadouts. Starting the game, you're going to work your way up to the church as quickly as possible. I recommend sticking around here until round 4 or 5. That way you can keep hitting the vending machine. There may be a chance that you get a ray gun from it or even a couple of free perks. I'll have a full guide on all of the Easter eggs throughout this map coming out next week as well. You should definitely subscribe for that. So when you get to the church, you're going to want to keep an eye out for the groundskeeper. Hang around this little area right here, and you'll eventually see a zombie running around, but he won't be attacking you. Not only does this chap look different to everybody else, but he'll also be one of the only zombies who has a name above his head. Take him down, grab the garden shed key, just through this barrier, turn left, straight ahead, and voila. This is the first step to building yourself the jet gun. While you're here, if you happen to have 1,250 salvage, you can craft yourself the Mangler cannon, which you will be able to use to unlock one of the other parts of the jet gun. Run down to the speed cola area, and just outside of the flower shop, there's a little water valve that you can take. Head over to the Liberty Lanes bowling alley. Pop one of your smokes if you have the underbarrel attachment. You can also use the tactical or Aether Shroud. Then interact with the doohickey on the wall. You may have to hit it first. The smoke will shield you while you hold this thing down. It's probably worth saying that you can just use smoke tacticals. The only reason I recommend the underbarrel is because if you happen to run out, you can just buy some more ammo and that will reload your smokes, meaning that you don't have to worry about running out of the building or avoiding the zombies. Aether Shroud works pretty well here as well, but it doesn't last as long as the smokes. Keep holding until the water pressure is maxed out, at which point the water pressure gauge will come flying out, pick it up, and that is your second piece of the jet gun. Work your way down to the riverside and you will see a little shop called Radio House. Whip out your Mangler cannon, fire it at the gates, you'll blow the bloody doors off and then you'll be able to check out all the salvage on the floor, interacting with it. There are a couple of spawns in here, so just have a look around properly, making sure that you collect the electrical wires. Then head back to the first area of this map inside the motel, which is just up these stairs, and you'll be able to craft yourself the wonder weapon for this map, the jet gun. Or as it's known in the game, the Thrustodyne M23. We'll just call it the jet gun. Now, you suck. Not you personally, I mean that's the next objective, which don't worry, let's move on. There are 3 doohickeys you're going to want to suck up. The first one is inside of the church. Make sure you've interacted with the strange machine off to the side, then turn back around and face the main entrance, look up, and there'll be a little guy floating up here that you can suck into your jet gun. Second is going to be above the barber shop next to Speed Cola. It's kind of a weird location, but there's actually an easier way to be able to get this. You can jump on the van, whip out your jet gun and try and pull it from the window, or you can just go above that location, stand next to the zip line, face the ground, and just start sucking. Is it weird that I feel uncomfortable saying the word suck so much? Just me? No? A little bit sus. For the third and final doohickey, you're going to want to head back down to Riverside. Then opposite Radio House is a cool little comic book store. Don't spend too much time perving over Aetherella, we'll be doing plenty of that later on. Instead, jump into the center of the room, crank your neck back, face the ceiling, and suck the third and final thingy. Now, we're going to want to get to the rooftop of the bank. To do this, head back to the graveyard, jump on the zip wire. Whee! Then, when the ride is over, head over to the crafting table and build yourself the LTG device. At this point, you're going to want to go and buy yourself the GS45 pistols from the starting area if you don't already have them. Obviously, I do because I've been running around with them. Pack-a-punch them at least once and upgrade the rarity to rare or even epic to be able to deal as much damage as possible in the next couple of mini-boss fights. The final step to prepare for this fight is to head back to the church and grab yourself an empty ether canister. Then walk down the hill a little bit and place it on the output of the dark ether field generator trap. Head back up to the graveyard. My god, we're getting a lot of cardio in today. Walk up to the very ominous purple cloud and interact with the doohickey on the floor. You'll place the device you just made, and your job is very simply to stop any zombies interacting with it for the next minute. Pistols do a pretty good job at taking out any enemies that would come up to it in one hit, but also don't forget you've got the jet gun handy. Try to conserve ammo if you can, because you've got a pretty big fight coming up. You'll have one of two creatures randomly spawn. There's no telling which one you're gonna get, but you're gonna have to fight both anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The first of which for me was Noctumi. Now this guy works the same as all the others. Aim for the head, keep firing, and when he gets low enough on health, he'll start emitting this strange purple glow aura thing. At that point, you want to take him down to that little canister that you left on the floor, activate the trap, take him down. You can just kill him when he's inside this little area, and his soul will be sucked into the canister. I recommend doing this next bit at the end of the round, because you're going to have to grab the canister, and you're not going to be able to sprint or anything like that, but with the canister in hand, you're going to walk back up to the church, interact with that strange device again. Now, there is a glitch to be able to duplicate this. I'll leave that up to you whether or not you want to do it, because it may be patched in the future. It will save your boss fight, but for the sake of longevity, I don't know if that glitch is still going to be available in a year's time. After depositing the canister, there'll be a little device that pops out on the left-hand side of the bigger device. This is called the Strauss counter. Now, typically this would lead you to a couple of other devices, but that's what I'm here for. The first one is just outside of the church. You're going to want to jump onto this little grassy field area, raise the Strauss counter, which is going to be in your tactical slot. Then you're going to want to interact with the device on the floor depending on which color is showing up in the Strauss counter. I'm going to try to explain this as simply as possible. If the counter is showing red, you need to put the light on the machine as green. If the counter is showing as green, you need to change the color of the machine to red. If the Strauss counter is yellow, the device will also be yellow. I hope that makes sense. Red on the counter, green on the machine. Green on the counter, red on the machine, yellow on the counter, yellow on the machine. The second machine you're going to want to interact with is just around the corner from the garden shed and that little crafting table that we made the mangler cannon at. Interact with it in the exact same way. Green is red is green, yellow is yellow. Then for the third and final device, we're going to head back up to that rooftop, so you can do whatever zipline you want. I always like to use the graveyard one. Open up this boarded area right here, jump down, and the machine will be there waiting for you. It's worth noting that you can interact with any of these machines in any order that you want, by the way. Then head back to the starting area, and a brand new canister is going to be ready and waiting for you to collect. Now, you can stick this canister anywhere you want. You can use any machine that you want to use, but the next boss is going to be just outside the radio house shop, so it just kind of makes sense to put it here. Grab the LTG device if you haven't picked it up from the last boss fight, and place it on the strange area on the floor by Riverside. Defend it for 1 minute yet again, and you will have a brand new mini-boss spawn. It's going to be the opposite of whatever you had the first time round. So in my case, I got the Mangler Creeks, but this guy. Same method as before, get his health really low, he'll start emitting that purple aura, take him over to the canister, activate the trap, and watch his soul get sucked into it. Then take the canister back up to the church, and you'll be ready to go for the final fight in this Easter egg. Now, the next two steps are going to be kind of optional. You can go ahead and skip chapters if you just want to get straight into the fight, and I'll give you some advice as we go along. The first of which is collecting all of the Aetherella statues scattered throughout the map. I'm going to show you the locations quickly for each one. I'll have a more in-depth guide coming out next week. It will be linked in the description if you're watching this later in time. The first four are going to be found inside of the Aetherella comic book store. The first one is just to your left as you walk in. The second is just up here on the shelf. The third is, oh my god, she fell over by the window. And then the fourth and final one in the store is up here on the shelf. Now, if you leave the comic book store and run back to the first area, there'll be one just on top of this motel sign. After sucking her up, start heading back towards the church, then turn around, jump onto this big bus, and then the next statue is going to be on the sign for Liberty Lanes. Then, for the millionth time, grab the zip wire to the roof of the bank. Whee! Head down to this area, look across the ledge, and you'll find another statue stashed away right here. For the penultimate one, start walking back up the hill the way you just came, and there'll be a little statue on this window ledge. For some reason, mine was like halfway down already, but it's normally just there. Climb on top of the car, suck it up, and then for the final one, we're gonna go to the church, but don't suck this one up. You gotta suck it, but you're gonna do it gently and slowly. This voiceover is going in a completely different direction. You wanna drag the statue into the church. So just keep sucking, but don't let it get too close. Just leave it there, okay? You'll come back to it later. So that's pretty much all the statues, and it'll make sense in a second. All you need to worry about now is making sure you've got your gun at least double pack-a-punched. You've got the rarity upgraded to either rare, epic, or legendary. Don't forget to get the napalm burst ammo mod. It'll make your life a little bit easier when you're in the final fight. Don't forget to grab yourself some perks. I highly recommend Jug, which can be found in the bank. Quick Arrive, which can be found inside of the comic store. PhD, which is just by the stairwell outside of the church. If you don't know, PhD stops all explosive damage like your pistols from being able to hit you. And if you're going to be following my final tip, which I'll talk about in just a second, you're going to want to get Melee Macchiato to increase your melee damage. Oh, and if you can, you may want to grab yourself a Mutant Injection. You can buy one of these for 2,500 salvage, or you can get one dropped from a elite or special enemy. They are kind of a rare drop, so it may be easier to just save up salvage for an extra 2-3 rounds, buy one for yourself, head back into the church whenever you're ready, and get ready for a showdown. This boss fight has 3 phases, if you can call it a boss fight, that is, because there isn't a single enemy that you have to focus on. You're just stuck in this room with a bunch of enemies that want to tear you to pieces. The first round, you're going to be up against a bunch of zombies and a couple of manglers. This you should be fine handling. The trick is just to run around the room in circles, try to avoid getting hit as much as possible. If you've got the napalm ammo mod, you can hit these 4 candlestick holder things in the room. The first is by the machine, the second is in the corner by the door, the third is right here next to Pack-a-Punch, and then the fourth is over here by the bench. If you hit all 4 of these, the ceiling will rain fire on all of the zombies in the room. You can get hit by this, but the likelihood of it actually doing more damage than the zombies themselves, it's unlikely. Just be careful. Once you've taken down all of the zombies and the manglers in this round, it's time for round 2, and this is where things get a bit spicy. If you don't have a Mutant Injection, I recommend you try to do this just with your pistols. If you do have Mutant Injection, however, wait until the boss spawns. He's going to be the big scary looking dude in red armor. As soon as you see him, run to the front door, grab your jet gun, and suck up the Aetherella statue. You will now be pretty much invincible for 2 minutes, firing lasers and taking out every single enemy in your sight. This boss isn't gonna know what hit him. You should be able to take him down and all of the zombies and slowly start making your way through phase 3, but because of how long it takes to transition rounds, this is why I said to grab the Mutant Injection, because your Aetherella power is gonna run out. However, using the Mutant Injection, you can then transform again, become invincible, and with Melee Macchiato powering up your melee attacks, you'll be able to take down Noctumi, this terrifying looking mother trucker, in a matter of seconds, making this third and final stage of the boss fight an absolute breeze. Once you've finished him off, taken down the manglers and all of the zombies, you have officially completed the main quest for Liberty Falls. You'll get a cool cutscene, and that is the end of that. After the cutscene, you'll be presented with an opportunity to carry on with your game. If you do, you're actually given a couple of really cool things. First of which is Perkaholics. You unlock every single perk in the game. You're also given a bunch of legendary weapons, which more often than not includes things like the ray gun. There's also some crystals that can give you a level 3 Pack-a-Punch and a wrench that can fully upgrade your weapon to a legendary variety. If you're trying to hit round 100 or even higher, doing this Easter egg really early could be a great way of setting yourself up. Anyway, I really hope this guide has helped you. I'll be doing a full guide on Terminus's main quest at some point soon, although that will probably be done after Call of Duty has released their guided mode where they walk you through everything, but let me know if that's still something you want to see. Either way, I will definitely be showcasing all of the Easter eggs in Liberty Falls, which is something you're going to want to stick around for because there are so many and it's taking so long to put the video together. I love your faces, you're amazingly beautiful, and I will catch you in the next one.